Welcome. Ziggy 1X here with another NieR reincarnation video. And let's go ahead and talk about the next aspect of the Ultimate Beginner Guide. And I'm not really breaking this down into parts. I'm just kind of flying off the handle and doing whatever, wherever the spirit takes me kind of thing, whatever strikes my fancy. Let's take a look at this. So what's the next thing we need to think about when we're planning our accounts as a beginner? Our farming routine. Well, let's take a look at that real quickly. You can see currently I'm farming dungeons because I need to find that HP set where I get my big boosts to my tank in arena. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about that right now. So let's go ahead and beat this guy up real quickly. And and my wife's trying to communicate to me through the door. All right, let's go ahead and beat this guy up real quickly and talk a little bit about it. So here we go. I'm farming Memoirs. Why am I farming Memoirs? Well, because I've completed my event farming. So let's go ahead and bounce out of here real quickly and take a look at this. Now, there's a few things that I've mentioned in some of my other videos where I think that we should be, not only as new players, but just as veteran players, prioritizing our resources. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Again, this is real time. This is on the fly. I'm kind of quasi on a lunch break right now, a bit of a lull in the workload. And so I'm just trying to crack something out real quickly. I'm going under the knife tomorrow. So I'm gonna try and get this and one more video done today before I actually can't talk very well for the next couple days after that. So I'm gonna have a break from Thursday probably through Sunday. So nothing from me coming this weekend. But let's go ahead and jump in here. Well, okay, you can see that on our subquests, we've got a whole bunch of these icons right here. What do these icons do? We got half stamina campaign, and in many cases, sometimes there is double rate drops. Not this time though. So we have just the half stamina campaign. Well, normally one of these dungeons is about 25 stamina at floor 10 to farm, and that's a lot of stamina. So these are the kind of things that we're looking for when we're looking to farm something. Now we also, you can see we have this across the board, pretty much for everything. And even if we go over here to our EX character quests and we look at these guys, we also have the item drop rate ×2. We have the increased drop rate campaign. We have the, I mean, like everything here, okay? This is, if we go into one of these guys and we take a look at this, then what we got right here is a go away. I'm not even gonna mention what just happened there. All right, anyways. Okay, so really what we got going on here is we've got the 2x drop rate and the bonus drop rate. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Get out of here. Make me some lunch. Love you. I'm talking to myself.
Oh, you are?
I'm recording a video.
Oh.
No. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Jesus said I'm gonna dance. In my pants.
I can't take you anywhere.
I want to tell you something.
You're gonna have to wait a few minutes.
Get off that.
No, I'm recording.
Right now?
Yes.
This second?
This second. Close the door. Thank you. Love you. I'm gonna leave that in here. Okay, getting back to the video. So, I can't even think straight. All right, so where are we prioritizing our resources? Well, it really depends on where your account is at. So dark memory is a very important part of that because the dark memory weapons are critical. They are critical in your account. They provide the most power. They provide a ton of versatility, and I use them pretty much everywhere throughout the game. I use them in arena, I use them in dungeons, I use them in pursuing the highest difficulty content. Basically, they typically are the weapons that do the most damage. And they also have the added benefit of that haste ability, which allows you to cool down your skills faster, which allows you to use your character skills faster, etc., etc. This is a marathon, though. This takes a long time. Now, granted, it is much better now than it used to be in the beginning, but we are getting a lot more Zenith, but there are ways to get Zenith throughout the game. Now, I don't recommend, for example, turning in your arena medals in exchange for the Zenith. I still think that the Black Pearl is a better investment for that, because the Black Pearls are far more difficult to come by than the Zenith. But that being said, the Dark Memory weapons, you pick one and you roll with it. You don't necessarily need the characters. The gotcha characters are excellent. They've surpassed in so many ways the Dark Memory characters. The one thing that the Dark Memory characters have that's very, very beneficial is they have that innate elemental resistance up to 25% against their opposite element. This does make them very powerful in some content, especially high-end content. Say, for example, your strategy is to burn or poison an enemy down, then you want to have your team being as tanky as possible. Having an extra 25% damage mitigation is immensely powerful under those circumstances. So you can build your resources to the moon. Hey, honey, can you get the dog, please? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Wesson, shut up. Okay, so you can build these things up to the moon and you can make them super tanky, super tough, and you can rely on the damage over time effects and also debuffing the enemy attack, increasing your own team's defense. This is a really viable strategy for accounts clearing higher tier content. I use it all the time still. It's actually a really easy strategy to use, and it's far more easier to use than the damage output bursting the enemy down, because that requires a lot of resources, including high-end debris, including top tier weapons and sub-weapons, characters, character skills, and things like this. You can still clear the majority of this content in the game with the Dark Memory characters and with a few strategies. So this is a very viable option to look into. Again, the weapons though are the focus. So let's go back over here real quickly and let's go ahead and look at our subquests. Okay, wait, what the heck did I just do? I'm all over the place. I've got a dog whimpering in the background. The wife let him in. Now he's feeling all locked out and excluded and hopeless and all that other stuff. Okay, so let's take it by the numbers here. So currently we have special quests running. These should always be a priority, especially if they're daily quests. Make sure you're checking the list to see if you have any special quests. This one just popped up. I didn't even realize it was here, but this is a one-time quest. You can pick it up, pick up some extra advanced handbooks, go from there. So just make sure you're going through your quest selection every day. All right, next thing, limited quests. Okay, so our limited quests right here, you can see I've got a lot of materials for this guy right here. So I really don't need to farm this event anymore unless a part 2 comes around. I don't know if that's gonna happen. So we'll see, but I'm just kind of holding on to those until next week comes around. We'll see what happens with it. But once you're done with farming your quests, and this really depends on where you're at also with things like mythic slabs. If you have not fully flushed out your mythic slab boards, the first board, there's 2 of them. There's the one that comes with the antlers that you get from subjugation, and then there's this one where you can pick up items from farming in the world and in the shop and whatnot. If you have not fully flushed this out, then you need to be diving into every one of these events, at least on the medium tier. I can show you this right here. The low and the medium tier, these 2 guys, at least get all of the mythic slabs from these 2. This gold tier is much harder to farm, and unless you have bonus weapons, you're going to be burning through a lot of energy to get those, so that may be a secondary priority. Okay, the next thing we've got here. Let's go back to the event and let's scroll down right over here. Okay, we've got our fate board. Now, this is a beginner guide, so most of you, and I still haven't finished Quest 12. Actually, I was having trouble with that one. But this is higher end content. But if you have those EX characters, weapons, maybe some burn or poison weapons, things like that, some of these levels actually may open themselves up to you where you may not be able to make the damage race, but if your team is super tanky and you're able to debuff the enemy, you may actually be able to make some progress here. So that is a very viable strategy worth looking into. The next thing is that the Abyss Towers have fully opened up now. So you can farm these at your leisure, and there is a lot of gems in these 5 Abyss Towers. So do that. Get at least to, just about everybody can at least get to floor 20. And if you get to floor 20, you've got a lot of extra gems in your account. So don't Don't poo-poo on this. This is really good. Now, our daily quests are a little bit different. We're going to be getting, you can see these materials I've got highlighted right here. This depends on where your account progress is at. Can you get the dog? He's whimpering.
Are you looking at yourself again?
Yes, I'm looking at myself.
Just make sure I look good.
You look great. I love you, babe. Can you get the dog, please?
What about you?
No, you.
Vanity.
No, I am vain. You're beautiful. All right, now get out of here. I love you. My wife, lovely, lovely person, and I'm a dysfunctional husband. Okay, anyways, so we've got the daily. This is going to be the weirdest video ever. I'm going to really try and get through this quick. So I hope you guys enjoy the family drama. Anyway, so the daily quest, serves a very specific role where every day there's a new element. So for example, you've got this guy right here, the aquamarine. Now you need these gems to evolve your gotcha weapons. So if you don't have these gems, you need 50 of them for the 4-star weapons, and I want to say 20 or 30 of them for the 3-star weapons. But if you don't have these guys, you cannot unlock your weapon's full potential. The good news is they are farmable, and every day we get a new element. So if you are a beginner, you're trying to get the maximum ability out of your weapons, this is the evolution material for the weapons. Farm it up, okay? Now, let's go over here. This is another material that is farmable, but it's also critical for unlocking the potential of weapons, typically towards unlocking the weapon abilities that you use, the active and the passive abilities. This is the resource that you use for enhancing your weapon, so on and so forth. And so every day we get something new. Sometimes they unlock multiple, I believe Saturday and Sunday, there's multiple of these levels unlocked. So on the weekends is a great day to farm these, but most of us who have moved along in the game to any degree have moved past farming these levels at all. The same goes with Guerrilla Quests. It's a great way to get a hold of the medium slabs if you aren't farming a event, but the events are far superior to this. And this is also a way to go ahead and get weapon and character enhancement materials. So if you are short on those, this is a great way to do that. Now, another thing that got brought up to me, by the way, as well, this will come down to the dungeons. The dungeons are twofold. The dungeons serve two critical purposes. The first one, and the most underrated one, being gold in the game. Gold is an incredibly big bottleneck, or narrow bottleneck in this case at the beginning of the game, because everything takes gold to upgrade, and memoirs are really expensive to upgrade. So gold is a bottleneck. Now, how do you get gold? Well, you get it from selling various things and from occasionally from handouts in the game, but that's not all that much. The best way to get gold in the game that I found is to sell your extra memoirs that you're not using. So the memoirs serve a twofold purpose. They give your account a tremendous, one of the biggest farmable damage bumps and power bumps in your account comes from memoirs. These are critical. Do not look down on these. Not only are the abilities good, and I've made 3 separate videos now called Memoirs. They're in my playlist. I've made 3 separate videos now going into detail about the importance of memoirs, their significance, the best ways to farm them, what to do with them, what stats to look for, things like this. This is a big question that comes up because, especially if you're new to the game, you're looking at these stats and you're trying to figure out, for example, when I first came into the game, I was looking at agility as it affected my PvE experience, which it really doesn't. It doesn't do anything for your PvE experience. It only really affects you in PvP, and it's only ever really impactful in PvP. So outside of PvP, the player versus player aspect in Arena, agility really doesn't do anything for you. And so that's a stat that's a junk stat on something that I'm going to be using for my PvE teams. Well, what is a good stat? Crit rate, crit damage, attack, HP. Those are the main. If you get those 4 stats on a memoir, you're doing really good. There are other characters that scale off defense, things like this. So it's very nuanced, but again, I go into this in my other guides. I'm going to leave it for that, but do not discount memoirs. My suggestion, whenever you get a half rate or a double up or both on a memoir dungeon, you go in there and you farm memoirs until you can't anymore. Because memoirs are one of the single most impactful thing in the game that you actually have control over to a degree. It is still RNG based, but you have a ton of control over it because it's quantity. The more quantity you put into it, the more eventual quality you pull out of it. Okay, And then the last thing here, character quests, this is a one-time thing. So when you get your character, you go in here, you have to get them to rank 10. That means you have to farm them through multiple battles. And you'll see this rank leveling up on them as they go through these battles when you first get that character. Once you've gotten them to rank 10, you can do all their character quests, you can see more story, you can get more gems, things like this. So now let's get into the more advanced part of the farming. Okay, what are you focusing on? Let's say you're me. You've got all of your dark memory weapons unlocked. You have the events cleared. Actually, dark memory has almost become a nuisance because if I go in and start farming dark memory, I get too many tickets and then I can't sell the tickets because for some reason, the developers won't let us sell the dark memory tickets. And so I have to go spend them, which you can spend hours going through your dark memory tickets, that 10, 20, 30, up to 100, and then you'd click it and do it again. It's really obnoxious. Developers, please let us sell our dark memory tickets. We don't need them anymore. Thank you. Okay, so then what is it that I do? I've got all my dark memory weapons. I've got the events done. Now I focus on, you can never have too many memoirs, or you can't have too many memoirs. The cap at 999, but there's always a better memoir out there. So what do I usually focus on? Well, I usually focus on my arena and not a whole lot else, because if I get great memoirs from my arena, then that usually bleeds over into everything else. So what are the best arena memoirs that people typically farm? Well, Aberrant Memories here and Blighted Flowers, this set right here, is arguably the most impactful memoir set in arena because it's your cooldown up to 30% for your weapons. So boom, your weapons immediately, the weapon skills immediately start at 30% cooldown, only 70% to go. And if you've got extra cooldown in your other weapons on that character, then it goes even faster. This is great for getting out ahead of the other team. Another really impactful one is, let's go back over here, is this guy actually. And this is more of a PvE one, but this one gives the entire team 10% extra HP. And this is where I was talking about if you want to make your team extra tanky, then you go ahead and farm something like this and you get it up there and it makes your whole team tougher. And if you're doing damage over time through poison and burn, great, that's awesome. So that is going to be my beginner guide, my ultimate beginner guide on what you should be prioritizing. Really, Dungeons comes down to the big last thing. That is sort of the end game farming content. You can always have better memoirs. That's my ending message. So I'm gonna leave it here with no further ado. I'm not gonna let this video drag on too much longer. There's probably 3 minutes of me yelling at my wife in here. I hope you guys enjoy it. So peace out, y'all. Have a good one.